So you booked your Carnival cruise, but you're wondering what's not included in the price that I paid. So today I'm sharing what's not included on your Carnival cruise and what you should expect to pay extra for if you choose to while on board the ship. Number one, excursions. We all love the excursions no matter where you're going, and those are not included in the cost of your fare. You can always purchase them ahead of time by going on the Carnival website, looking at the shore excursions, looking at the reviews, which I strongly suggest, and choosing beforehand. And you can also switch them up until 24 hours prior to the excursion start date. So everyone likes to do excursions, whether you're doing it solo, with one other person, or a group. Excursions are not included in your cruise. The cost of the excursions can range anywhere between $40 upwards of $200 depending on how long the excursion is, the amount of activities that you do. And so you can always do an excursion whether it's by yourself, with another person, or with a group. So I never personally bought the excursion before getting on the ship. You do have that option of going on the Carnival website and viewing all the shore excursions for each of the ports. If you do that, of course, you should always look at the reviews to see what people say about them and how their experience was, because when you're on board and you're looking at the excursions on the Carnival Hub app, you're not able to see the reviews. Or at least from what I remember, you're not able to see the reviews. So if you want to see the reviews of what other people say, then go online prior to the cruise, but you still have the option of booking an excursion while on the ship by using the Carnival Hub app, or you can go to the Shore Excursions desk and they can show you all the different options available. I'd recommend going online prior to your cruise, looking at the options, and then if you don't purchase it beforehand, then definitely right when you get on board, purchase that excursion, because they sell out very quickly the day that the selling starts. And of course, as the cruise goes on, while more people are adding on shore excursions during the sailing. Excursions range from walking and shopping tours, cooking classes, water sports, all sightseeing, adventure. So there really is something for everyone. Keep that in mind. You do have to budget for excursions, whether you're going on a 5-day cruise, 7-day cruise, 10-day cruise. It does depend on how many ports you stop at. Some people purchase an excursion for each port. Some people purchase an excursion for just one port, but definitely set aside some money for your excursions because you definitely want to do at least one while you're on your cruise. Another thing that's not included on your Carnival cruise are the arcade games. They have an amazing arcade that's great for all the kids and teenagers, even us adults, but you do have to swipe your sailor card, and so that is an additional cost. When you're swiping it, it'll tell you how much it is, but those can definitely add up. So if you're a parent and you have children and you allow them, with the settings to be able to swipe their card, that will be charged to you. Keep in mind those arcade balances can add up. On my first cruise, I was just so excited, and it was just some downtime that I had, and so I spent probably $40 just on arcade games and didn't win anything. So just keep that in mind, that the arcade games are not included. Next, for things that are not included on your Carnival cruise are laundry service and ironing services. For the majority of Carnival cruisers, especially your first time cruisers, you have to pay for laundry service and ironing service. So when you go in your room, there's gonna be a form where you can check off different items and how many items you have, what type of item you have, and they're able to either just wash them or iron them, or they can do wash and iron. So that is definitely an option that you can do while on board, but it will be an extra charge to your sailor account. The next thing that is not included in the cost of your Carnival cruise fare are the gift shops. Whether you need some goggles last minute from the shore excursion gift area, or you want to buy a shirt, keychain, any souvenirs, those are not included in the cost of your cruise fare. Another thing that is not included in the cost of your fare are any cooking classes, baking classes that they may offer. They have chef's kitchen and also like a cupcake decorating class that you do have a small charge for, and that will be on the Carnival Hub app. On the topic of food, pizza delivery is not included in the cost of your fare. So while you can go grab some pizza, if you want it delivered, you will have to pay a charge for the delivery of the pizza. Another thing that is not included in the cost of your fare is the iMax theater if you are on a ship that has it, such as the Carnival Vista or the Carnival Horizon. Those ships have an iMax theater, which is pretty cool to be able to watch the new movies that are out during the time of your sailing, but it is an extra charge. You're not just able to see all the new movies that are out for free. You do have to purchase them. And along with some fun on the ship, if you're on the newer ships and they have the Bolt roller coaster, that is an additional charge per ride. You do have to schedule it ahead of time on the Carnival Hub app, but I believe when I was on the Mardi Gras, it was $12 or $13. And so that is per ride. So if you pay for it once and you want to go on again, you do have to pay an additional $12 to $13, I believe it was. So keep that in mind. If your kids are trying to go on the Bolt roller coaster, it is a charge each time they go on it. Compared to all the water slides, those are obviously free of charge because they are included in the cost of your fare. There are other things that you can get that are not included in your cruise fare, such as any special celebration items like some roses for an anniversary or a birthday, cake, balloons. You're able to book those ahead of time on the Carnival website. If you're celebrating something special and you want the crew to decorate your room, those costs do vary and they're available online. If you'd like to have your room decorated for a special occasion, they can definitely do that, but it will be an extra charge. And last but not least, tips are not included in the cost of your cruise fare. You can always prepay the gratuities, which I definitely recommend so that you already have it all done prior to even arriving on board. But the gratuities for the crew members, the hospitality staff, the dining staff, that is something that you should definitely do prior to your cruise. But if not, they will automatically add it that night before you leave when you see the full statement of your cruise. So the tips vary based on how long the sailing is, and it is per person per day. I always recommend prepaying the gratuities because it just makes it easier. That way you're not surprised when the bill comes. You already spent while you're on the ship having fun, buying things, that if you add on another $100 to $200 from the gratuities, it can definitely add up. Versus if you already paid for your cruise, obviously 90 days prior to departure, if you can always add the gratuities before that 90 days of payment being in full, or anytime before the cruise, and of course while you're on the cruise. But I recommend just doing it before prepaying those gratuities. That way you're not surprised when you have a higher bill than what you actually spent on board during your sailing. So this was part 2 of what's not included on your Carnival cruise. If you want to see part 1, go ahead and check that video out. And then I also have a video on what is included in your Carnival cruise. So you can also check that video out as you prepare for your first Carnival cruise ever or your first Carnival cruise in a while. Whether you're going solo, going with your boo, going with your family, and you want all the information to prepare you, you came to the right place. I have all the cruise tips, travel tips, and the vacation outfits to inspire you to book that trip. So you can go on my page and see all the cruise advice and tips that I have. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer. Just leave a comment below. I'll see you in the next video.